Another day, another thought. Welcome all to another edition of the Double Touch Show. Hope you guys are doing well. As you guys know, I'm RJ here together with I said amazing last time and you mocked me, so I'm sticking to the script. I'm RJ here together with my co host KR. KR, what's up, man?
I am well.
Awesome. Hey, thanks to everyone that's watching this pre-recorded live show as well as those watching the rebroadcast. We have a good one for you today, so we hope you enjoy this show.
Yeah, guys, just remember to follow us if you enjoy this, of course. If you don't as well, I mean, we are open to anyone to follow us.
Well, almost everyone.
Well, almost anyone. That's right. Uh, eh, Good disclaimer, but disclaimers are later on.
Yeah.
Well, you get your turn. You'll get your turn. Remember to follow us on our socials, guys, Instagram and Facebook. If you like this live show or this live stream, as we call it, like it as well. So it helps us get in the algorithm. If you're watching the rebroadcast as well, just like the show so we get more into people's recommendations. Because as we always say here at the Double Toucher, we're trying to spread the word.
Yes, the gospel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So if this is your first time watching the Double Touch show or any of our clips, just subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get the notifications when we post. We're trying to post multiple times live streams, multiple times a week, 2 to 3 times, different formats, of course. And we also post daily, sometimes two, sometimes three clips. So yeah, we're trying to get our subscribers up, and it's part of our focus right now because it's going okay, but it always can be better. I mean, we're trying to reach the 100K
To start with.
to start with. Yes, I was hoping you get some interaction. Anyway, let's also, as we always say here, share your video with the friends, the family. Maybe your teacher. Is it before or after? I'm not sure. RJ will understand that one. And as well, as we always say, distract your enemies with our videos. Maybe the teacher is your enemy. So you can strike them out. No, guys, we don't. Your teacher is never your enemy. Unless, well, anyway, unless. Hey, everything I say is disclaimer. And there is a disclaimer, and RJ will explain that disclaimer to you guys because a lot of people don't really understand humor.
Yeah. So thanks, KR. Yeah, guys, before we proceed, the usual disclaimer. And I apologize in advance for potentially hurting your feelings or insulting you. But guys, we're here to provide entertainment only. So remember that the views and opinions shared in this show, specifically, or more in particular, the views and opinions expressed in the articles and videos we share on the Double Thought Show channel, do not necessarily reflect the thoughts and opinions of KR, myself, nor this channel. All topics we discuss for entertainment purposes only. Remember that viewer discretion is advised and all commentary is alleged. As we always say on this show, we don't know anything around here. We are not your gurus. If you require specific advice on a particular area in your life, we strongly urge you, therefore, to seek the assistance of the respective professionals in the fields in which you require support and assistance.
Yeah. Find other people to scam you.
Uh,
Don't try to get don't try to look at us to get some brownie points.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, um, I think thank you for the disclaimer. Thank you for the disclaimer. You said something in the beginning about emotions. I'm not gonna respond to that because again, sometimes I need to filter myself. Um, with that being said, I think we can.
Bora! Hora do show!
It's showtime, and emotions are going out of the windows over here. Today, we're going to talk about the latest developments in the Michael Irvin case, the $100 million defamation lawsuit. We have had a couple of shows about this. We have actually we've put together a pretty nice playlist,
Yeah.
guys.
Pretty extensive, if I do say so myself.
It's getting bigger and bigger. Every week, there's always new developments. It's getting hot in here. Let's say it like Skip. It's getting hot in here. Oh, of course, I need to share my screen. And it's getting hot for everyone in this case. We have about 28 videos on this topic. We talk about how it all started, the developments, comparisons between cases. We were a couple of times predicting what would happen. We basically anticipated on certain things, gave our view on how let's say how it would develop, and a couple of times we were right.
Yeah. We were right, but at the same time, well, and this is a shout out to the people commenting on the videos as well, because as we always say, we always react to the show, to the comments, or at least now we can.
Try to.
Yeah, we try to. Well, yeah, we tried. Let's keep it at that. But we had some interesting conversation or interaction with certain of you. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and opinions. But KR, we could also see that some people did not agree with the take. They did, for example, check out the video because in last week's show we talked about the video shown by the lawyers of Michael
Yep.
Irvin, and it seems, and this goes to show that and everyone perceives things differently, but there are people who saw the same video and had a different conclusion from the video. They thought, for example, that Michael did flirt and that the woman was uncomfortable. And I mean, it's not, in my opinion, I mean, it's good to just share thoughts and opinions, but there's no point in trying to convince someone, because fact of the matter is that we weren't there. All we can see, no one was.
Only, well,
only,
the person we're gonna talk about today was there. So
yeah,
but
yeah,
even
yeah,
when he was there, he didn't see the whole interaction. So
yeah, exactly.
the only
So
two people who know is the accuser.
yeah,
You see what I did there?
right.
Because we were also no, I'm just kidding. But we'll talk about it later in the show. But continue.
Yeah, yeah. So no, but what I like about the guys and the girls reacting to the content of our channel is that for the most part, a lot of them express their thoughts. Some of them do it more uh, assertive and more assertive manner than others. But overall, I can say people are respectful, and that's important.
That's
We're
important.
we sometimes we as people like to think that we know everything and we want to try to convince people. But let's be honest, guys. If you're trying very hard to convince someone, oftentimes, or not oftentimes, but sometimes
It's
you might be
annoying.
trying to convince yourself as well. So
That is true. That is
remember that just because someone sees something in a different way, or interprets something in a different way, doesn't mean that you're wrong, or doesn't do take away anything from you. It's just people have different opinion, and it's okay.
perception, different
Yeah,
perception. People can see the same thing and take totally different conclusions from it.
yeah. Let's take Jada for example. Let's
Who? Jay?
Jada.
Which Jada? Be clear so that the viewers know who you're talking about.
Let's take Jada Pinkett Smith for example.
Okay, okay. Let's be clear.
All right,
I
do you
might
know
know
another
Jada.
Jada?
You might know Jada, but whoever is watching might not know who Jada is. Okay,
Okay,
Pinkett Smith, the
so
wife of the great actor Will Smith, and also the
aggressor.
well, I was about to say the person who cheated, but anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, but let's say Jada, for example. I mean, the whole story. A lot of people are saying, Will Smith, you should divorce that woman. Others are saying, no, everyone else is wrong, and Will was in the right for protecting his wife. I mean, we think that, I mean, you shouldn't touch anybody.
Yeah.
That's so, but that doesn't take. Some people believe what they believe. What am I gonna do? Try to convince them? I got better things to do.
Try to convince a flat earther that the earth isn't flat. But
On a side note, what I wanted to do, I saw a clip, and then let's proceed afterwards.
yeah,
I saw
yeah.
a clip of I think it was a reel on another platform,
Mm.
and I wanna I wanna get shadow banned. So the platform, it
Is
was
it? Is it?
actually
Is, no, wait a second. Before, let's exclude the platforms so people know what platform it's not. It
it's a
doesn't start
it's
with
a
an O, and the second word starts with an F, right? Exclude the. So you. I'm trying to help you, RJ.
I'm not
Try-
sure about that, KR.
I'm trying to help you to exclude
Yeah,
the platforms.
yeah, well, I said reels, so you should know what it is. Or at least I don't know if your platform has reels, but you can tell me. So
Try snitching out over here.
no, but yeah, so
I'm a ghetto philanthropist, so
you give
I'm
hug,
not.
you
I'm not. I'm just kidding, guys.
you give out hugs. The the
Oh my
so
God.
the clip was actually about a flat Earth theory. And
Mm.
when I saw it, because I always dismissed it, and I dismiss it, of course, but I'm just curious to see what people think. So how people can be so convinced of the that story. So I might look into that tomorrow when I don't have anything to do, or in the weekends or something. But
We have a new flat earther in the
no,
guys.
no,
Let
man.
us know in the comments. Try to convince this guy that the world is flat. Let us know why the world is flat, and
No,
please put it in. So next show will be about flat. We get banned for sure.
no,
Well, we're
no,
not
but
getting banned because
it
Kyrie
might
didn't get banned when he talked about flat.
it might actually get us clout.
Hey guys, let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Begin.
Hey, we're going a totally different route. That's not what we're here for. We're here for Michael Irving.
Yes, yes.
Michael Irving got accused of some crazy things. About a month ago. About a month ago, he got he, What's wrong?
I'm I just when you said about some crazy things, the alleged is the the alleged comment he made.
Yeah, we talked about it last week as well. The alleged comments. Marriott basically disclosed what he was saying, and we were basically riffing off of that. And
Yeah,
probably that person, the accuser's initial stuff with NFL.
yeah,
That's what we. It would be crazy if we end up to be right, right?
yeah,
It
yeah,
would be crazy. But guys, he got accused of some crazy stuff, talking crazy to one of the employees of Marriott, and that resulted, as I've shown you in a couple of clips. So if you want to go deeper into the story, you can just open the playlist on our
yeah,
channel and look further into it. And today we're going to talk about the latest developments. We have the YouTuber Legal Pet Law. Shout out to Legal
yeah. Shout out to him. He makes
or
some
Pet
good.
Law. I don't know how you're gonna. Should I shout out Legal Pet Law or shout out to Pet Law? Anyway,
Well, the channel
Nick.
name. That's what you should shout out.
Shout out to Nick. His name is Nick.
No one knows Nick, man. When you shout out, you shout out someone to support. If you say Nick, they won't find him. Man.
Well, yeah, Legal Pet Law. So
All right.
he has great content about legal. He breaks down cases. In the past, we've looked into certain cases to see if we want to address these cases on our show. And he popped up some places, and yeah, he's a lawyer, as his name says, legal pet law. And he interviewed one of the witnesses, and it's quite extensive, 21 minutes. And today we're gonna break down that interview
Yeah.
to see whether what we've discussed before this, if we were right, wrong, or whether we have to adjust certain things that have been sorry, assess certain things that have been said before by Marriott, but also by ourselves. Because I mean, guys, the story is developing, so everything we comment on is at that moment based on the amount of information we have. The more information we get, the more we can say about it, the more we can say more conclusive what happened.
Yeah.
Even then, we probably won't know what happened, but let's try to.
Yeah. In law they say being right is different, is something completely different than actually being than actually being or at least that doesn't necessarily mean maybe you're right in what you're saying, but that doesn't mean that the court will agree with you. So maybe in fact your statement is the correct one. Maybe you're telling the truth, but that doesn't mean that the court will see it that way.
The question is your girlfriend or wife the same as court? In general. Guys, please let us know in the comments if women or your partner
Yeah.
is actually a judge. Anyway, guys, let's
or a ruler.
let's transition to the interview. We have Nick on the left, and on the right we have the witness, which is Bryn Davis from Mice Media. Let's start the clip.
Bryn, thank you very much today for letting me interview you.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so we've all seen the surveillance video by now, and it depicts Irvin with his accuser having a very brief interaction. one of the problems that I've noticed with that interaction or with that video is that it has no audio. Since you were one of the only people who were not employed by Marriott who were within earshot of that conversation, that makes you a key witness in Irvin's defamation case. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I do. It'll be interesting to see. Yep.
So I guess my first question to you would be,
I think that's the start. To start off with, the clip, relaxed introduction. He is a key witness. Is it usual that key witnesses do interviews before the trial?
No. But no, it's not. But I think the reason why he's doing interviews is because he already gave interviews. So he's not telling anything new. And as I mentioned in the previous shows, this is Michael Irvin is a public person. Is a public figure. So as a public figure, he suffered a lot due to the let's say the incident. When I say incident, I mean I'm not saying what happened that evening, because that's something that we'll have to wait and see how the judge will look at it. But with the incident, I mean everything else that followed. Him being taken off the NFL Super Bowl broadcast show, him being trashed, his reputation being damaged, and Marriott not handing over the video, and Marriott claiming he said claiming what they claim he said, basically that the Marriott claims that he asked the lady whether she's ever had a big black man inside her. That's a that's a bold statement. That's
2 minutes after meeting someone. It's both statement if you knew someone a year.
not even 2 minutes in the conversation. Oh, Michael, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Because allegedly, that's what Michael said. Michael said, the woman said, yeah, I don't watch a lot of football. So basically, according to Michael, I mean, if you merge the two stories together, let's try, because the conversation was like a minute and 45 seconds or something.
Yeah, very short.
If we merge, let's say I'm gonna start with Michael Irving's part and then finish with with Marriott's part, no pun intended. So Michael said that the woman
should we continue?
No, we're good.
Are we parking this? Or?
Michael said, according to him, Michael said, the woman came, said, "Oh, Michael, how are you? Yeah, do you watch football? Are you excited for the Super Bowl?" "Yeah, I don't really watch football. I don't know much about football." Michael said, "Okay, well, you should tune in to watch our shows." And she said, "Okay, maybe I'll do that." And I'm paraphrasing, of course. And then Michael said, "Yeah, but I have to warn you, because sometimes I get emotional. I can go wild on those shows." And then that's Michael's part. But I'm gonna add the ladies' part now. The lady said, or Marriott's part. Yeah, Marriott. According to Marriott, Michael said, when the lady reacted, said, "Okay, yeah, maybe I will catch some shows." And then Michael said, "By the way," totally different subject. "Have you ever had a big black man inside of you?" Yeah, so it's wild. I mean, it's either Marriott's story is wild or Michael is a wild boy. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Well, he's a cowboy. That's definitely one thing. Guys, so with the Nick also points out that the other people that were there, who were married employees, are not key witnesses. It's basically, is that what he's basically saying? Because of their being
They're-
employed by Marriott would remove the bias or the unbiasedness of their story.
Yeah, so so basically they can testify, but the judge can attribute the weight to, so the judge will weigh every argument, will weigh every evidence, and basically what he's saying is, okay, uh Bryn's, so it's not that the other people can testify, because they probably can, but the question is whether they are unbiased or not. And Bryn was there. He has no ties to Michael. He has no ties to Marriott nor the woman. So his statement will probably get more, will weight more than, or will have more value than the employees' statements. That is, if these employees give their testimony. So that's basically what he's saying. But yeah, and just answer your question once more. It's not common for witnesses to go do interviews. You want to avoid that the lawyer of the other party, in this case Marriott's lawyers, will say, yeah, but is interview is tainted, or at least his testimony is tainted. He's been influenced. He looks up to Michael, things like that.
Yeah. What one thing? Well, you'll see during the interview what he will state that could avoid from tainting his interviews or the witness recollection he's telling.
When you watched that surveillance video for the first time, what was your initial response to it?
When I saw the surveillance video, I mean, to be honest, not much changed at all, right? Especially if you separate the narrative that was placed behind it, and you just look at it purely as the video. It was just, it was exactly obviously what I remembered and kind of how the whole thing went along. So I wasn't that surprised when I saw it.
And we'll have a chance to walk through the video. I'm actually going to play it for you here in a second and have you kind of narrate it. But before we do that, let's set the scene for our viewers. It was the night of February 5th. It was just.
They're gonna break down here the night. I'm gonna skip this partially and go to where he meets.
No. Actually, we were there. I had arrived for a meeting, and coincidentally, I don't even drink. So I was there for a meeting, hanging out, and one of the gentlemen that I was with pointed over and said, I think that's Michael Irvin. And obviously I looked over. He had been, maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 feet away. And I noticed him. Obviously, I recognized him. I grew up in Philadelphia, so I'm very well aware of who Michael Irvin is. And, we offered him to buy him a drink because it was kind of exciting to see Michael Irvin, right? So when the waitress went over and came back, she said, hey, Michael said, thank you so much, but he said he's going to decline your drink. He has to wake up tomorrow morning pretty early. And he came over and was incredibly nice. He came over and hung out for, several minutes, if not more. And we just kind of, had a nice conversation. And he had said, I have to wake up tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm going to be on ESPN. And he was actually funny. He said, this is what we're going to be talking about. So tell your friends. He's like, because you can tell them in advance. And we're talking about the Eagles or whatever. And he could see that I had my phone on me that was actually on. And he said, hey, if you wanted to grab a picture, let's pop outside. And that's when we went outside and everything really started to go from there.
Now, during your conversation with Irvin, you told Irvin that he destroyed your childhood.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Yeah, no, and it's actually important and relevant. I said, you ruined my childhood. I was, I grew up in the '90s. I was a '90s kid, and I'm an Eagles fan. Like you ran all over us. We couldn't go anywhere. And but what's interesting about that is, first of all, his response was he loved it, and but he grabbed my shoulders. He was kind of giving me man hugs and whatever. And it stands out to me because as I was watching that film, if he had done that, the same thing with that woman, it would be over in terms of, people's perception. And the difference between
Look, let me continue. Let me play the last part.
his physical contact with me as a male and her jumped out because he obviously didn't do the same thing. Even when he was laughing with her, there was far less physical contact.
Out of curiosity,
You're on mute.
My bad. I said, yeah, and everyone knows that less physical contact means flirting.
Maybe. Shaking your head because what I'm gonna say? What you expect me to say?
No, I'm not
Oh.
just say that.
Okay. No. I do agree with you. Less is more these days.
Yeah. Especially no, but what he said, I mean, that's a very crucial thing he said,
He
right?
said,
That
yep.
hey, he laughs, he touches, that's how he is. He's a very warm person, he's a very social person, and you can see him on First Take as well. That's the kind of person he is.
And
He
then the NFL Network, yeah. Very
no,
hype.
yeah. You said and the NFL Network, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tum. Lock of the week.
Yeah. So you see the I mean, and what he said is also a very valid statement, and it goes to show men and women are different. Because, as he said, if he had done this, can you imagine if he had done the same thing to her as he did to him?
Yeah.
It's a dangerous world we live in, man.
It's a dangerous world indeed. And I think he understands, Michael understands what he's doing. Because a guy will not turn it into a assault case. What kind of assault case you want to make it, or whatever case you want to make it. So he's much more, touchy, or he grabs people being Michael. And if you do that with a woman, and I do agree with you, that would have been, and also with Bryn, if he had done that, it would have been game over.
Over, yeah.
Game over.
Yeah. And I think this needs to stop. But and with this, I mean, that's a different topic. But let's just more of the story. Move smart.
Yeah, that's that. I think here at the Double Touch Show, we always try to tell people to move smart, protect yourself at all times.
Because can you imagine if there weren't any cameras?
Oh, he would have been cooked. I think we talked about this in the in a previous show as well.
Yeah.
Cameras are saving him. Witnesses are saving him right now.
Yeah. Because if let's say he had a camera, let's say the camera showed them, whoa, KaiR. Let's say the lady also wanted a photo. And Michael said, okay, let's take the photo outside. And they went, you'd had a video showing the interaction, and then the video would show that they went outside, but there aren't any outside cameras to record. He'd be cooked, man.
They're already alleging that he was drunk that night.
Yeah.
And this guy is confirming he's not drunk. He was as sober as he could be.
Yeah.
He's even declining drinks.
Yeah.
But if it's tough, man. It's tough. And I think if you, to go back to the initial remark, people are, even now. No, I want to make a joke, but let's shoot, guys. It's a joke. Shoot. Michael Irvin prepared himself to get sued for discrimination between man and woman. Him touching a man and not touching her.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think
let's continue with the
let's give the
clip.
answer.
Again?
Let us know in the comment below,
Yeah,
in
let
the
us know in
comment
the
section
comment.
below.
Should he lawyer up? Will he get sued? After this, he's gonna show a couple of pictures they've taken with Michael. Nothing in particular that has to be um, uh, discussed in this show. But then they discuss about Michael being intoxicated.
So I'm looking at this and I'm not seeing a man who looks visibly intoxicated. And that is one of the accusations that Marriott has leveled against Irvin that night, is that he's not stumbled into the bar, but walked into the bar from being out having drinks that night, and he was visibly intoxicated, is the way that Marriott describes it. Was there anything in your interactions? It sounds like you were in fairly close proximity to Irvin that night, taking selfies, and he was massaging your shoulders, apparently. Was there anything that indicated to you that he was intoxicated? Talk about that.
No, he wasn't drunk.
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah.
Nick's out here throwing haymakers. Yeah, let's continue.
And since everything that I've talked about was firsthand, not hearsay, etc. I have no idea if he drank before that. I know that he turned down our drink because he was going to bed, but he was not visibly intoxicated by any stretch. And I don't drink, so I would have recognized it. It wouldn't have been something I forgot. So I don't know, if he had drinks at the bar, what he was drinking at the bar, but he turned down our drink, and I would definitely not say that he smelled like alcohol or was stumbling by any stretch.
Yeah, guys. Basically, what you see is that during the video we've discussed last week, you don't see that Michael is stumbling. He doesn't seem drunk. He's not moving out of the ordinary, what you could expect from someone who played in the NFL. Because also, don't forget, guys, these guys' bodies have
FCT.
been destroyed throughout their career.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what NFL is. You get a lot of hits.
Yeah.
So he's not walking differently that I would expect from someone who played in the NFL. He doesn't stumble or moves like he's a bit drunk. So,
But yeah, that part I don't agree with objectively. So if you look at him objectively, it does seem like he doesn't stand still. But if you know him, then that's how he is. So it's not because you have some people who just stand and talk to you, but Michael is always moving. But he's not moving. He's not drunk.
he's still the wide receiver.
Yeah,
He keeps moving.
trying
He
to.
can't stand still.
He saw the attack. He saw the subconsciously. He saw the attack coming. He was like, "No, I gotta keep moving.
I gotta move."
Yeah, but so you can see him moving. And one of the people who commented on one of the clips said that to her, I think it's a her from the picture, but to her it seemed like Michael was flirting, and Michael was moving in, and the woman was moving back. But I think that's also confirmation bias. If you believe something, you're gonna look for it.
Of course. They also talk about that, by the way, that moment.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, let's continue. Oh, let's continue. Pressed on the wrong button here.
So his eyes weren't glazed over. He wasn't slurring his speech, nothing like that.
No. And I mean, I don't have much experience with Michael Irvin, even to be honest with you, even watching like his broadcast.
Mhm.
He was a super friendly guy. And I hope that's not mistaken for him being like loose or having a few drinks. I think that's to me, it was just the way that he is.
For somebody who's seen him on TV, he's certainly has a gregarious, outgoing personality, and that's one of the things that I think a lot of people like about him is his just joy for life, which comes across, and it sounds like his interactions with fans as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. When we offered him the drink, I had no idea what his personality was like because I really don't know much about him, and was shocked at how like nice and friendly he was. He was like, it wasn't your normal athlete interaction. He was a really good dude.
So yeah, it seems like the interaction is he's a natural nice person towards his fans, or people who don't even were his fans, because this guy is a supporter of Eagles.
Yeah, yeah. And he could have easily said, "You know what? I'm gonna get you back for what you did to, for what you did to our city."
Destroyed my childhood. I'm gonna destroy your life. Get back.
Yeah,
So-
but yeah, continue.
No. You want to say something before I continue?
Yeah. Just a comment. Let's say note to self, and guys, this might be a tip for you too. Should you ever be a key witness in a scandal, and should you do interviews on Zoom or any other platform, virtual platforms, put the name of your company.
The plug. You gotta plug yourself,
As well,
man.
to plug, because I just went and checked out Mice Media, what it does, just to see like, okay, so don't forget, I mean, it's free publicity, guys. So
Plug, man. You gotta get it how you live.
you might you might you might go to court with merch. you might get
MAGA instead of MAGA mice. Oh man, let's continue. Let's continue. So there are a couple of other aspects. We're gonna dive on two or three more. We're gonna start with who initiated the interaction.
Was walking by.
One of the unfortunate things about this video is that we can't really see the start of that interaction because of this poll right here, this column, but it looks like you were in fairly close proximity to it and might have been able to see. One thing that Marriott has accused Irvin of doing is flagging her down as though he were a predator on the hunt. Irvin has vehemently denied that allegation. Who, from your vantage point, initiated the interaction between the two?
So, in real time when I was there, as she came around the corner, that really, when they came more or less face to face right then and there, that's when the conversation started. And then it kind of migrated behind that pole, unfortunately, or that column. But to me, Michael was going to his room directly. He had talked about how tired he was multiple times. And, from my recollect and from witnessing it, it was more of a conversation that initiated when she rounded that corner, and that's what just kind of started the conversation because he was going directly in the direction that she was coming through.
And so I'm going to fast forward it here to where they first.
That's another one. I'm counting 5 strikes already.
I mean, it's very interesting things that he's talking about, because as Nick already says, or Pat Law, Marriott, according to Marriott, he flagged her down, and the witnesses is saying the opposite.
And the video as well.
And the video as well. Yeah, you can clearly see that he was trying to go a different direction. Then she starts talking to him.
Now, on the video, you see that because the woman had to go to the restaurant. She worked in the restaurant, I think, of the hotel, the bar/restaurant, and they say the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So if you're at point A and you need to go at point B, the shortest way would be just to walk straight to where you need to be. But in the video, you can see that she walks around to probably meet or bump into Michael Irvin. We should check her credit score.
Pump and grind. Let's continue here. This second part is gonna talk. This part is gonna talk about
The video.
whether Irvin stepped a bit aggressively towards her.
Here we see in the video, Irvin kind of steps forward towards the employee and she kind of steps back like that into the lobby. From what it looks like to me, Irvin and the employee were blocking the entranceway to the bar. You could see people walking by. Would you say, from your vantage point, was Irvin aggressively approaching her there, or was he blocking the entrance to the restaurant bar? And are they just kind of getting out of the way of traffic?
Yeah, so that was there's obviously those two entrances you can see to go into that little lounge area, and where they were was directly in that opening, like the main thoroughfare. So they moved off to the side, and I'm not sure where we are in the video, but during their interaction, I was talking with the gentleman Joe next to me, because Michael, this sounds ridiculous, but his physique for his age, we were looking up his age because he was in such good shape, and we looked over and saw him. Directly at this point is when we started having that conversation, and it was not like an aggressive move anywhere. It was to get out of right between those two columns right there.
Yeah.
Anything you
Clear.
want to add?
No, I mean we can follow it. I didn't see the two. I didn't know about that argument or that um, aspect of the story that they were accusing him of blocking the entrance.
No, they are accusing him of moving towards her, and he's saying the opposite. They were basically moving out of the entrance, and the thing is, after he said it, I noticed one thing. The moment someone walks by, they start moving away from that location.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it's really like a reaction to themselves noticing that they are blocking the way towards the bar. So it gives you a better context in that sense here. Why he's moving forward towards and why she's moving back.
Yeah.
They also ask him whether they heard anything about what they were discussing or saying.
You actually hear anything that was being said? Did you hear any specific comments or words or laughter at any point?
Yeah, I mean, so we were within earshot, obviously, and when they first met each other, it was, "Hey, Michael Irvin." Said, "Yes, I'm Michael Irvin." They had a conversation. There was laughter, and that's kind of, again, it was kind of a not very noteworthy, friendly conversation. So, while we could hear the tone of it and how it was flowing, from everything that I heard, there was nothing out of the normal or even in a different tone than a regular fan or whatever interaction. There was laughter because we heard, I remember them both laughing.
Right about here in the video where she kind of kicks her leg, I believe they shook hands one last time, and she kind of goes back into the bar area. Describe what you heard at that moment.
As he was walking away, and towards the end of the conversation, he said, I'll be here all week. Just kind of as like they had just met each other and were talking back and forth. And that was it. There was nothing out of the norm about the interaction that I witnessed whatsoever. And he then started to make his way to where the elevator is, which is where he goes after this interaction. And that was it. She went back to work, and there was we were there for a little while after that. I'm not sure how long, but not, for a little while, and everything went along as normal. There was
Is he saying anything else that we haven't basically seen or heard before? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm dealing with a cold, so I keep putting myself on mute. But
cold as ice.
but yeah, we haven't heard anything new. But that's the whole thing with court cases, right? Someone can, and we saw it in the a perfect example in the Amber Heard Michael Depp Johnny Depp case is that they can just, I mean, there's a procedure and someone can just lie, but you still need to go through the whole procedure to get to a conclusion that you already know, or at least to reach a conclusion that most people already know what that would be or think that it has to be. So, uh, yeah, it's a shame because in the meantime, Michael Irvin's name is being dragged out, and that's probably why he put 1 million or 100 million as well as a claim. It's probably because he knew that the case, or at least he anticipated, or his lawyers anticipated how long the case would take, anticipated that they would try to drag it on, and said, you know what, it's better to just go for 100 million because that's like that will cover both your lawyer, the law fees, or the lawyer fees, other legal fees, fees to pay experts,
Unpaid salary,
unpaid salary, reputational damages.
reputational
Yeah,
damages.
so it's
Could it be that it increases from 100 to 200?
I think there's a more likely chance that it will decrease.
Okay.
It's just like something you throw in the air.
Mhm.
But oftentimes you throw more than what you will get.
Mm.
It's better to throw more, throw out a high number and get like 80 or 800, or yeah, 80 million, for example, 50 million, than to ask for 50 and get 20. Like Kanye said, reach for the stars, so if you fall, you land on a cloud.
Well, doesn't work for everyone. Did you hear about the case about the OF model whose ex-boyfriend dropped her, well, let's call it revenge prawn,
No.
and she sued him for 6 billion.
How much did she get?
Well, she sued him. I'm
Ah,
not
okay,
sure.
yeah.
It just dropped last week that that article.
You know what we call
Well,
that?
you can also overreach,
Generational
of course.
wealth.
6 billion. The guy's probably if you can get 100,000 out of him, probably that's a lot. But yeah, you can overreach as well. So I understand your point here. But the difference between 6 billion and 10,000 is it's a big one.
A billion is 10 times 1 billion is 10 times what Michael Irvin is asking.
Yes, she said she asked.
She said 60 times. She wants 60 times.
Well,
And I
which
bet
fits
you
in
she
the
doesn't have
stereotype of,
Michael's lawyers.
it fits in the stereotype of OF models, right? Anyway,
I don't know about that. You can tell me, man.
Let's
I don't know much.
continue. Let's
I don't know.
continue. Let's continue. Trying to drag my name. Might have to sue you. Let's see what else. What else? We're talking, of course. What happened after the interaction?
Action. Just briefly describe what her demeanor looked like. You said there was no like awkward hush or awkward silence that fell
No.
over the crowd. Describe what you saw Jane Doe's demeanor after her interaction with Irvin.
Back to work. There was nothing notable about anything that happened at all. Again, I was shocked 2 days later when I found out this was what they were even talking about. There was nothing out of the norm about the rest of the time that we were there whatsoever.
So a friendly smile, or could you see, was she smiling? Did she have a look of distress on her face?
Oh no, they were both smiling. I mean, again, it's a shame you can't hear the audio, but there was laughter. It was a very like happy, normal conversation. There was no like awkward, change of tone or, someone telling someone not to do something or whatever. There was none of that.
He got cooked. Hey, you didn't go down like that, huh? He got cooked.
I think Marriott is getting cooked out here.
Yeah.
Briskets, chitlins.
It's over.
Of course, one another thing that Marriott said is that when Michael was slapping himself, he was yelling out, she's hot, something like that. If you recall, yo, Marriott might have a script writer on their defense team. Because the crazy stuff they are, I don't know if they're making it up or they are out of thin air or anyway, whether this is the recollection of the witness or the accuser, I'm not sure. But the things that are floating out there are a bit wild. And he also addresses this part. And he has a logical explanation for this.
I'm showing you the part of this surveillance footage after the interaction has ended between Irvin and the accuser. And we do see right here, Irvin slap himself 3 times. And then he goes out to take a selfie with one of the Marriott employees, apparently, or one of the Renaissance employees. Did you at any point when he was slapping himself, did you hear what he actually said or the tone of what was said at that point in the video?
No, at this point, at that point, I think I assumed he probably had left, or I didn't hear what he said when he slapped his face at all. I didn't hear "she bad" or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, she bad, not she hot.
In watching the video later, and again, this is not anything that I heard in that moment, but when I watched the video, looking at it,
Close enough.
Close enough.
She's bad, she's hot.
Or he didn't say anything.
Yeah, in this case, probably. Let's continue.
without the narrative that was set by either party. When I watched the video, looking at it without the narrative that was set by either party, my first inclination was that he had told us multiple times that he was tired and going to bed. And that's what I assumed that the slapping face was about, because again, I didn't hear "she bad."
Yo, this is a song. I told you it's a script writer. She bad. Dun, dun. Ricky Martin. She moves. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba. Someone was listening to Ricky Martin while writing the script. But it's a logical explanation, I think. If he said to them he's tired, he's trying to wake himself up. Yo, that would be crazy though, RJ. If you think about it, he's slapping himself and saying "she bad."
Now, I've been thinking of something. I'm gonna say it. I was thinking whether I should say it or not, but I will. Michael Irvin is someone who's been popular for a long time. I bet you he's seen all kinds of beautiful women in his lifetime. He still sees a lot of beautiful women in his lifetime. Wait, are you gonna stop me or are you gonna add?
No, I'm gonna let you add.
Okay. So I think to impress him, you would need to stand out. Now, we don't know who this woman is. The information is still
She bad.
confidential. But from the camera, from afar, it doesn't seem like she's maybe she has a very beautiful face. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like someone that
would
it's not
stand out.
it's not slap yourself worthy, is what I say.
She is not, might not be knockout gorgeous.
Yeah, respectfully, she doesn't, maybe she is, but I mean,
Knockout. He's knocking himself out. Oh man. No, I mean, as we say beginning of the show, we're joking a lot, guys.
but this thing is, KR, this is a very serious thing what Michael's being accused of. And
Yeah.
I saw an interview a couple of days ago of someone who was a real victim. Not saying that this person wasn't a real victim, but I'm just saying it doesn't look good. But it happens far too often that people misuse their position in society,
Mm-hmm. Their
uh,
privileged position.
their privileged position. Look at Amber Heard. And when it becomes, when it's revealed that something isn't true, that someone lied about being a victim of something, and it happens again and again and again, it will be like the boy that cried wolf. No one will believe you anymore. But that no one believes you is one thing. But no one, people will have a difficult time believing other people who might be real victims.
Real victims, yes. Yes.
So, yeah, did you want to?
I want to do one last part where he
Alright.
talked to Irvin. But I want to also say something. I agree with you on that. That fake stories or half truths or made up stories are at the end going to influence people's perception on these accusations in the future or even right now. First thing people will say is, hey, is this really true? And they will look into it, as they always should. But I mean, sometimes, someone might make up a story because they want to do it for clout. And that person might be, let's say a certain person has a reputation for chasing clout and it happens to them really happens to them. Then at that point, you're not going to trust the whole situation. Perception is working against you. So guys or women or everyone actually try to avoid these false accusations, because the real victims will be the real victims at the end of this all. Last but not least,
Correct in understanding that you saw Irvin on a plane at some point after the incident? I thought I heard in an interview you mentioned something about seeing Irvin on an airplane.
No, I didn't see him on an airplane. What had happened was relatively serendipitous. So we had somebody that I was there with, a gentleman named Tony Bruno, who had a big radio presence for a very long time, and still does. He was on Radio Row, and somebody had from Michael's team had gone up and said, I guess this was on Tuesday after I'd read the article, but before I knew that it was this incident, said, hey, this is what happened with Michael or whatever. A Sunday night, he was at the Marriott, and the Tony Bruno's fiance now said, oh my gosh, I know the people that were with him. And they called me and said, Bryn, I'm two people that know Michael are here. I think you were there when this all happened. And pretty quickly I spoke to them on the phone, and then they said, Michael's agent would probably reach out to you in a moment if that's okay with you. And he did. And then, I explained the story, and, I said, hey, listen, I said, I really don't care, but if you want, I can send you the pictures, because it was in the exact several moments. And this was before, obviously, anybody saw this video. And he said, okay, let me just confirm a few things to make sure this is accurate. Would you be okay with hopping on a three-way call with Michael? And I said, of course. So a moment later, they called back, and Michael was on the phone, very like as if, not a very somber kind of guy. And he said, hey, and I said, Michael, I said, I'm sure you don't remember me. I said, but because there are so many people he's speaking to. I said, but I was a guy, and I explained what we talked about what he was talking about on ESPN. I said, hey, then we went outside. And as I was telling my story, he started to like literally finish my sentence. He's like, oh my gosh, you were talking about Jalen Hurts. Oh, like, yeah, we went outside. He goes, and before I knew it, he got very emotional. And the next thing I heard him say was, I got to get off this plane. I got to get off this plane. He had exited the plane at that point because I think he was heading back to Dallas. So because I think maybe he'd been asked to leave or whatever. And now that he knew that I guess somebody was there and could recall it and all of that, he immediately left and got off that plane.
So in other words, he wanted to as soon as he found out this breaking news, he wanted to go back to Phoenix to try to clear things up. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think it was because he thought that it was not like there was nobody around. And when I spoke to him, the biggest thing that he kept on asking was, he goes, I talked to so many people, I have no idea who this woman could be out of the people that I spoke to, because all the conversations were like the same. He said, and he couldn't wrap his mind around who had said that he said something, because again, he was talking to a bunch of different people. So that was, and he looked horrific. He was pretty torn apart that next day. I don't think he'd eaten. He was still wearing the same clothes because they'd asked him to leave in the middle of the night. So like, it was
You
sad.
could clearly see he was in some degree of emotional distress there.
Entirely.
So he said that, so Bryn said that Michael said that he couldn't recall. He didn't even know who the woman was because he meets so many people and all the conversations are the same. So it's either
You're going that right. Oh my God.
so it's either he didn't say it, or Michael has a habit of asking women whether they've had a big black man inside of them. It's probably the first one, but we don't know.
You don't know. Maybe that's his the icebreaker. That's how they break ice. Let's break it open. Oh my God. Guys, I think it's what is clear in this the last part is that Michael didn't even really it's been said in previous articles and previous shows we had about this. He didn't know what really happened, and by talking to Bryn, he started remembering, for okay, this is the person who probably is accusing me of this assault. And right away his first reaction is, let me go back to clear this up.
Yeah.
I don't want to go home. I want to be part of what they have hired me for.
Yeah.
And also, of course, let me clear my name right away, because it doesn't make any sense.
No. And at that point, he still could have went on the Super Bowl broadcast show if they could have cleared his name immediately.
Yeah.
But I think as well, I think that once the
Story got out there.
yeah, the story got out and the can of worms opened, it basically, you basically have to wait. He basically had to wait and still has to wait until the whole procedure is done.
Yeah. One last thing that they also Nick of legal pad law also asked Bryn is whether NFL had contacted him before, and they didn't. So yeah, basically this is his perspective on this whole thing. I mean, it's quite clear, guys, that the interaction from the viewpoint of Bryn, which is one of the witnesses, key witnesses, it's not really very deviate. It doesn't deviate a lot from what we've seen so far and what we've heard in this story. So
No. Well, and Bryn also gave a short interview or a short a short interview during the press conference. But in this interview, he went more into detail into specific aspects of the video, which is something I found very enlightening. So it doesn't really change the point of view, but it does create more context. It
Mhm.
gives you more, a better understanding of what happened. But basically, what happens in a court case is that the facts of the matter would have to be reconstructed. So everything, so the video helps with the reconstruction, the testimonies help with the reconstruction, what people can prove helps with the reconstruction. And once the facts are established, you will then have to go and see what the legal facts are, legal facts. So, what facts are relevant for the legal aspect of the case because it is a court case? And after that, once you establish the facts and you establish what the relevant legal facts are or information is, and the relevant arguments from both sides, the judge will weigh every comment, weigh the position of every side, and come to a conclusion that might or might not be what actually happened, but that's basically how it goes.
clear, clear. Well, let's see how it continues to develop. It's looking, based on what we've seen so far, on the up for Michael and RJ. You have the floor.
Yes, yes. Thanks for the post, or as it is, thanks for transitioning to this part, which is the recap. And today's show, we talked about the latest developments in the Michael Irving uh, case. Well, the case itself hasn't further developed, but what happened that is pretty interesting is one of the witnesses, a key witness, was interviewed by Legal Pad Law, and it was a very interesting interview. The witness went more into detail of what he experienced, but also gave his thoughts and opinions on certain aspects of the video that was shown. Because the video that was handed over from Marriott uh, showed a conversation or an interaction of less than 2 minutes between Michael Irvin and his accuser. And you can interpret it from different ways. And some people say, hey, Michael was flirting, and other people are saying, no, he wasn't. And according to Bryn, the witness, he said, no, with him, Michael also joked. Michael made contact with him a couple of times. That's just the kind of person he is. He did far less with the woman that he did with him. And he even made the remark that if he had done it with the woman, then his career would be over. And that's not because he made contact in an inappropriate way, but you just have to be careful nowadays how you move. Um, I think that we'll have to see what will happen. I don't think Marriott will change their point of view, so they probably will have to fight it in court, or they will reach a settlement or try to reach a settlement. But I think perhaps in Michael Irvin's case, it's better for him to just go to trial and get and be um, found innocent, because that will help his reputation. Because then you will see, then you he knows that he is innocent, or at least you can always say, I have the proof that I'm innocent. Um, if they settle,
You
in
get
5
the
years, people will forget what happened, and they will say, No, there was a case and he settled.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's what.
Take it to trial. YSL style. Young
Yeah.
son.
It has to go to so it has to go to trial, or the Marriott and or the person need to make a public apology, something like that, something to clear his name. But Michael has more um, added value to clear his name than he has to settle this problem as fast as possible. Because with a clear name, he can still get sponsorships, still get shows, still book gigs. But if he's found guilty, then that can really ruin his career in the future. So yeah, guys, we'll keep an eye out for you with regards to the latest developments. Again, shout out to Legal Pat Law for the great interview. He makes some very good content. So please go check out his channel as well if you don't know it, and subscribe to his channel because he breaks down a lot of topics in a very practical and straightforward way, not using too many legal jargon, so it's easy to consume. KR, that's my recap. Did I miss anything?
No, which means that. Can you hear them, guys? Can you hear them?
Yes. Thanks to everyone who tuned into this pre-recorded live show, as well as those watching the rebroadcast. Whatever your thoughts are, please don't forget to let us know in the comment below. Let us know if you agree with us or not. Follow us on our social media platforms at Double Touch Show on Facebook and Instagram. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. We're trying to reach 100,000. We're trying to reach 1,000. We're, we're trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of June of this year.
100,000. We're trying to reach 100,000
By the end of
next month. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Let's continue.
We're trying to reach 1,000 by the end of June and 100,000 as soon as possible. So please subscribe if you haven't done so already. It really helps us. As Kiara always says at the end of the show,
but I can only show you the door.
Behind that door is a pot of gold. That gold might belong to Michael if he plays things right.
Yes.
Let's see how it works out.
Yeah, so let's see. Hey guys, let's have a healthy conversation in the comment section below. And we'll see each other in the next show. Until next time, peace.
Peace.